Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another week of Twisted Transitions. Today we have got a very, and I mean very, special show for you, as I reached out and you guys answered the bell. So today we will be reviewing your setups. You guys sent me emails. You delivered on some photos. You want an honest critique? You have come to the right place. We are going to do that tonight. So definitely get your popcorn ready, because there are some interesting setups on here, guys. And I want your feedback. I'm not only just going to give mine, I want your feedback as well. So let's say what's up to people in the chat here. We got the homie Romeo Great in the building. DJ Chris Senzo, what's happening? DJ G Kenny, I got yours too, my man. Oh yeah, we gonna be talking about that. DJ KP, what's happening, man? What's happening? first of all, are you guys enjoying all the content and everything that's coming out? Because I mean, it is just like a constant flow. That is countless hours of content coming your way. So I hope you guys are enjoying all of that, because that just took way too long. Because after this last little batch gets done, you might have to just simmer down just a little bit, because there's a lot. Plus, I feel like YouTube is not pushing some of the videos like they used to. So I'm just going to give it a second to breathe. And, you know, I'll still do this, of course, still do the live streams here, but maybe focus on another area. So how my levels and stuff sounding, guys? Let me know in the chat. Everything here. DJ Wickham. You know what? You could almost do your name like DJ Wickham. Yeah, I don't know if you use that, but I mean, that doesn't sound bad. Like, if you could figure out a play on that, that would be dope. What's happening? Okay. Ready to listen and learn on DJ setups. Look, everybody's ready. Nobody's scared, are they? Is anybody scared? Anybody nervous about me looking at their setups? About me posting it? It's going to be good, guys. It's going to be good. Look, everybody's in there. Perfect. All right. Sounds good. Let's go ahead and get started. Without further ado, let's do this thing. All right. So let's first talk about last weekend. Now, I guess I need to put myself back up there. There we go. All right. So last weekend, you know, while we're talking about setups, last weekend I had started off on Friday, had a doubleheader. I had a graduation party. And it was probably about, you know, I was told it was going to be about 76 people. It was only about maybe 30, at that. And it was interesting to say. There was not a whole lot of people. There was not a whole lot of dancing, not a whole lot happening. But let me just tell you guys, it was so far this year, and maybe it may top the last 10 years. It may top the worst load in of over the last 10 years by far. I forgot to take a picture of the stairs, but you go to this pavilion like thing, you pull up to it. To unload, you're all good to roll up. But then they've got one flight of stairs like this, and then another flight of stairs like this, and it's like 9 stairs a piece, maybe even 12 stairs each section. And I've got to take all of this up there. Now, of course, I had more for the setup here, but I was given the bare minimum to do this, because when I saw those stairs, I was like, nope, everything floor. And, you know, which I thought it would be more, but it wasn't. But I do have some video from it. Check this out here. I mean, this is what it looked like. Make sure that volume's down. But yeah, you could see it wasn't a lot of people at all. It was just kind of is what it was. So, I mean, look, they had a good time. Graduation party. It is what it is. That just kind of speaks for itself. So that was Friday night. And then, of course, I had to take all that down and take it back downstairs. So needless to say, I was already hurting on Friday, leading in to Saturday. So Saturday, things got even more interesting. Saturday, I had my setup right here, and I was originally scheduled to be outside, but this one was because of the threat of rain that day. I think it was like 60% chance of rain that day. They moved me inside. Now, one thing I don't like about this venue is that they put you on this wall, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but like literally, how can I do this? Is it right here? Okay. Literally right over here. If you guys see the top of that chair right there, literally there are people right in front of me, and the dance floor is like kind of up and off to the side. And it was just tough sledding, man. I don't like the spacing in there. I wish they would center the DJ, but the bride and grooms who usually use this venue usually have their tables and everything sectioned to where they are center of attention, even though they only use the tables for dinner. And that's what I don't understand, because if I'm going to be the focal point of your evening and you're only using the tables for dinner, why keep the tables there and put me on this wall? Anyway, I digress. But, I did do the movers on the poles again, which did help out. The plates were a little big for the space, but it did help out space-wise, not to have to put the two stands next to them, the white stands, the Rockville stands. It helped out with space to be able to have that right around me. So I kept all that together. Now, if you'll notice to the left on the screen here, over here, by that speaker on the ground, there is a little white box where we had cold sparks. And let me just tell you, DJs, if you don't do this, you must do this, and listen to me good. You must have a checklist of the small things you need. I have been in trouble probably my last 3 gigs because I've forgotten one thing. Literally one thing. And that one thing this time happened to be a remote control to control the cold sparks. Well, I had never set them up for DMX before. I tried to run them through the Wolf Mix to see if I can get something going. I just did not have enough time to really set it up and play with it. I probably should, while, I have the week ahead of me, I probably should set them up just in case something like that happens again. But I had to have my lady drive 1 hour to bring me a remote that was literally the size of this. And it panned out because they needed it for their send-off. So it was, if I wouldn't have had that, I would have had to refund that money for them because I couldn't fire off the cold sparks that were literally sitting right there. So kudos to the missus. Thank you so much for bringing me that. But it was definitely nerve-wracking, to say the least. And I think I have some video from that. Let me show you the ceremony because it was in the chapel next to that. So yeah, the chapel this is the one where you use a golf cart to get up to the chapel. But they have one of the great things about this venue, even though, I was knocking it just now. One of the great things is that they have their own house system. It's a turbo sound, double speaker. It's already pre-wired. It's got a Yamaha mixer that they use. And all you literally have to do is take your iPad, if that's what you use or whatever you're producing the sound from, for the music, and just plug it in with a headphone jack. And it goes through all of their speakers in the sound system. They also offer 2 lapels for you, which is great. So all I had to do was just mic the efficient up and test the volume on which mic it was, and boom, it was done. So literally great setup, horrible placement for where I had to set up at. I believe I got some dancing and stuff on here, so you can kind of see. This is the whole venue, but I mean, for me, this is up and off. It's off center for me. But they enjoyed it. As you can see, they had a good time. I only had like maybe an hour to play music. And I don't know what people are doing with these time frames and stuff, guys. I have no idea. I don't know why people are not accounting for their time. But if you only give the DJ an hour to play, man, that's not enough to really make anything happen. So you better be on your P's and Q's. You better be ready to go. Let me see. I think I got a second one here too. Here's another dance floor image. You can see they were passing out cowboy hats and all that good stuff. I don't know. I think this guy's lighting a bong in the middle down there. Yeah, that's the song I was playing. And I think here's the exit right here. Let's see. I think it starts over, but you can see the cold sparks. I mean, I wouldn't be able to get this. I wouldn't be able to get that image if I didn't have that remote. So do a checklist for the little things, guys. It will pay off. It will definitely pay off in the end. So I say that because it's necessary. All right. So let me check on the chat real quick before we get into the nitty gritty. Let me take this down real quick. Derek Jones, what's going on? Enjoying the content. Romeo Great. Day in the life of DJ Matt 121. What's happening? DJ G5, what's good? What's good? Daniel Rodriguez, what's happening? Jay Torture, what's going on? DJ Lilo, what's good? Amar, what's up? I think I got one of your things in the showcase tonight. DJ Kinfolk, what's happening? Denny D, what's good? DJ Nate NYC, what's going on? Solstice, I got you in too, bro. We're going to look at everything. 2 channels, super simple. The meta housing ones, purely. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. Yeah, I done sent the wife a few to save my behind. Yeah, do you guys have a backup plan to go get stuff for you? Like, do you have somebody that will come out and bring you stuff? Because if you don't, I mean, you're kind of screwed. Daniel Rodriguez, did that load in make you do not... No, wait a minute. Did that load in make your do not return list? Yes. Yes, because they could have easily just had this on the bottom floor and we would have been fine. All right. Before I get into that, I also want to tell you that I just picked up this camera right here. This is the Osmo Pocket 3. I will be capturing content with this camera for gigs from now on. I know you guys are always asking me, how do I capture content? Well, before I was using the Canon G7X Mark II, and I've been using it for 7 years. It's great, but the window on the back is starting to act up. And this right here, I've been doing a lot of research on this guy. This thing right here is probably one of the best substitutes that you can probably have for that. Plus, I can capture vertical and horizontal content with this, and it has automatic face detection. It's got a lot of great features with it. Highly recommend it if you want to try it. I've been using it to, just kind of test it out. And this weekend, I'm going to try gig log with it for the first time. So just to let you know, I am going to try out this guy, but it comes with this cool case right here that is supposed to, help out. And it's, pretty heavy duty stuff right there. It doesn't crack, and you can squeeze it. And it has a microphone, which I don't think, here we go. Has a DJI microphone that already comes with a wind guard too. And this is just Bluetooth right into this guy, and you just wear this on your shirt and you get great quality sound. So we're going to test it out. All right. So it is time to get to our main event. No, Romeo Great, you cannot use that for streaming. As far as I know, I haven't seen it used in that manner. I believe, though, you can capture, if you've got a stand, you can capture overhead product reviews. You can capture head-on reviews. You can capture reels. You can do reels. You can do TikToks with it. You can do, just regular content. If you travel on vacation, it's just an overall great camera, but I don't believe it streams. It does have an app that you can pull the footage that you record from and immediately edit it so that you can post it on your social media. No, it's not 360 either. It's just pretty much a regular type camera. It does do 4K. And I've got a pretty decent size micro SD card in it. So it's really good. Does that do vertical and horizontal at the same time? Not at the same time. You have to pick which one you're going to do it in, but you do have the option to do so. All right. We good? Good. All right. Let's get into it. I'm going to take myself off of here so I don't block any of these guys' shine right here. So, all right. DJ setups. And look, guys, you guys just give me your regular basic critique. We don't have to drag anybody. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But I'm just going to give my humble opinion on it. And remember, before we start, these are just my opinions. It doesn't mean you have to change anything. If you see something you like from another DJ, cherry pick it. Who cares? All right, here we go. First up, we got DJ Rafael Santiago. So let's give him his shine here. This is one of the pictures that he sent me. It looks like he's got a tabletop facade, not one that goes all the way to the ground on this particular image. And it looks like he's using, I think these are Everse speakers here. Let me take a look here. I think these are those? Those might be RCFs. They look like RCFs. They may be RCFs. If you could see what that is there, but you could see he has a tabletop facade where he's got two lights behind the table here. I mean, behind the facade, he's got what looks like 8-foot towers. This tower's looking tall as hell, man. He's also got two movers at the top. I can't tell what the movers are. It's too far away. One thing I really like about the setup, wire management is done almost to perfection. It looks great. It looks very, very minimal. A couple of things I do not like. If you're going to go with the white stands and the skirt on the stands, probably want to have it a little bit more uniform and not have a black skirt at the bottom. Now, if the venue gave you that, then you probably want to invest in your own table. Because the venue could probably throw off the look of your setup. I mean, everything else you have on here is white, and then you have black movers, and a black table. I think if you're going to have something black on there, it should probably either be your speakers, your lights, but preferably probably not your table, just in my opinion. And let's see here. This is a side view, another setup though. This looks like, this looks like you've borrowed a table from the venue. Not a fan of borrowing tables from the venue, not at all. I used to use the tabletop facade. I used to use the black one. I understand why you're doing it because you didn't want a full facade and it's easy to pack this thing up. But it's kind of outdated a little bit. It's a little outdated. Not to say that you have to change it. I mean, there's some events that you could probably call for it, but I like everything else. I like your setup. I like your speakers. I like the uplights. I like all that. It looks good. So good job, Mr. Santiago. All right. Next up, we got Stevie Ray Entertainment. All right, so this is one of 3 setups he sent to me. Right off the bat, I do not like that corner setup over there. It looks funny. It looks like an I. It literally looks like the lowercase I. I don't like that. Now, maybe you set that up that way because of the situation of, where you were. But I mean, are you DJing behind that? I mean, that's like. That's like 2 feet back there. That's like one controller. I mean, I know you're not getting any type of mixer back there. It's just basically a controller and you. That's just not enough space for me, for my liking. I'd like to see all of this in the same corner, but like I said, you may have had a situation where you had to set this up, in the corner for a reason. I'm just not sure what it is. But then again, you go here and you do it again. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the small, the compact facade there. Like, I feel like that should be spread out a little bit, get a table back there, get some more stuff back there. It looks like you used the both lighting to hang up at the top. That's creative. It's something different. I don't like T-stands anymore. It kind of reminds me of the gig bar. I would like to see you get like, I don't know, maybe like the poles for like gravity stands and put like some wash effects on there, because I mean, you're going to use 4 of these both lights. You can easily conquer that same look, or probably even more, with 2 wash effects. And I think that will help that set up a little bit more. And here it is again, just another setup, another room, but it's the same thing. I just don't like the spacing. These look like RCF speakers. I don't have a problem with those. I'm good with those. Those are fine. You did great wire management on it. I don't see any wires, which is good. But that T-stand just makes it. We got to get away from these T-stands behind us. Everything needs to be a little bit more symmetric in the front of us, not really behind us. These T-stands are crazy. You guys love these things. And there's plenty more guys who have that. So, all right. Appreciate you, Stevie Ray, for sending that in, man. I hope that critique helps you out, bro. All right. Next up, we got DJ Dylan Entertainment. Okay. So what am I looking at here, Dylan? It looks like we are pretty spaced out. Now, again, I think that you are only spaced out because of the option that they gave you, where they put you, where they told you most DJs go. It's just it's tough. It's tough when you do that. Again, in that corner over there, you know I hate those gig bars. I see it over there. I'm going to say it and say it over and over again. If you're going to set up in a nice room, please don't use a gig bar. That's just my preference. I don't think you should use a gig bar. You could have easily put 2 wash effects on top of those speakers, cover the same ground, if not more, probably cover that entire dance floor, and that would have looked great. It's a little outdated with the double-sided skirts on the speakers, but I get it. You've got, at least you're covering up the wires with it. I usually use those double-sided skirts whenever I'm doing like more of a basic gig. I try not to have those skirts at weddings. Like I said, they're just a little bit outdated. So I would say, here, based on the circumstance, good spacing of the speakers, probably get you some Chave wash movers. Chave wash effects to put on top of those speakers and take care of your lighting. I can kind of see on the right speaker that the wire is dangling. I'm hoping your wire management is good, but even on the bottom of that where it plugs in at, I can still see wire there. You definitely want to make sure that you cover as much of that up as possible. Here's another setup, and I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, there's not much I like about this. If this is another setup for you, I'm not a fan of a few things on here. First of all, do you guys see what I'm saying now about the skirts? The skirt it's dated. It's definitely dated. It doesn't look like it's pulled tight enough if you're going to use it. It definitely looks like it's got some leeway in it. As you can see, the bottom shows up under it. So if you've got wires going, anywhere around there, you could see those wires. I'm a stickler for wires. I try to keep everything behind the setup as much as possible. The fact that you can see everything going on this table is cringy. It is very cringy. I am not a fan of not covering up your setup somehow, some way. As you saw with one of the other DJs already, they had a table facade. I mean, using just a table skirt, just not a fan of it. As you can see, it bows up at the bottom and you can see the whole light. It's dated. And then you've got my nemesis, my arch nemesis. You've got that gig bar in the back. I can tell you that if you put some wash effects on top of those speakers with those movers, you'll get the same effect. And it can drastically change your setup if you had a facade and put those stands behind the facade. That way, that would look really uniform. It would look really good. I like the collapsible stands. I definitely use those myself with the movers on top. So I do like those, but we need to modernize the setup a little bit more. We got to get rid of these these skirts. Like I said, if it's for like a birthday party, if it's for like a tiny area, things like that, cool. But if it's for a wedding, we got to get rid of some of these double-sided skirts. We have got to move on from those. And the table skirt. I'm not a fan of the table skirt either. Let's see what else we got here. All right, this is the last setup you sent me. I mean, it looks like here you own a facade. And that's what's the confusing part. You own a facade. I don't understand why we're not utilizing that facade more. This looks like my old setup here, my QSC setup. I used to love having my QSC 2 tops and then 2 QSC subs. Looks like both 18s. And then you got a facade there, and then you got that doggone gig bar. Now, you have used, looks like small movers on the speakers. I don't like that look either. That look, it looks cluttered. It looks really cluttered. And look at the wires that are hanging from it. Now, granted, when it's nighttime, I get it. But if this, again, is a wedding that you're doing, for me, that's... You want somebody to pay you big money, you got to cover a lot of this stuff up. You got to cover a lot up. Now, I saw you do wire management on some other setups here, but if you look at the corner of those facades, at the corner of both sides, look like you dropped the ball on that wire management. You got to get that stuff taped down. You got to get that stuff looking nice and neat. I see you got the subs on 2 carpets. Maybe that's so it doesn't move. That's fantastic. But we got to get rid of that gig bar. We've got to. Maybe look into some gravity stands and put some of these movers on there, or look into some wash effects and put them on some gravity stands. It would really, it'll change your setup instead of that gig bar in the back. In my personal opinion. Again, it's just my opinion. All right, next up, probably the best name out of the whole bunch of everybody that sent me stuff. DJ Rick James. Okay, so let's look at this. So if the last guy, DJ Dylan, these are the gravity stands here. Now, you can get them in white, you can get them in black. I would assume that if he's got this black setup, that he's probably going to need the black stands. It would make sense, but he's got white movers, so I see why he did that. Maybe even switching, like if you get the black stands, you could put the washers on the black stand and put the movers on the collapsible stands. And that may be an option for you as well. But I mean, we got a few different colors happening here, but I know when the lights go out and stuff is playing, I know you don't see all that, but you see all this while it's daytime, just like it is in the photo. Not a full fan of the black facade, especially if this is a wedding. If this is a corporate party, I feel like the black facade would go over. If this is a birthday reunion, I feel like the black facade would go over better. If this is a wedding, I just don't feel like the black facade is the way to go. I think we should keep it clean and keep it with the white color on here. Now the speakers, again, it looks like my old setup with the QSCs, with the poles in the middle and then the 2 subs at the bottom. I'm glad that they gave you a stage so you can kind of rise up over the crowd. But I wonder if that mover that's on the top there, that thing looks massive. It looks massive. It looks like it almost would be too heavy, or if it moved, like it would wobble really bad. But I mean, the setup is decent. It's decent. I would say I was supposed to do rankings out of this. Out of 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, I would probably give this setup right here probably a 6. I'd probably give this a 6. Everybody before that has been a 5 or lower. Just going to be straight up, which has been a 5 or lower. But this one right here is probably a 6. It gets a little bit of an upgrade because he did take advantage of the gravity stands. Wire management looks good on it. You don't see any wires going up to those movers or the wash effects. He did a decent job on the poles. So I like it. It's a decent setup. Just don't like it for a wedding if that's what this is. All right. Next up, all the way from Brazil, we got Galeno Music DJ. Now, he also wanted me to preference in his email. He said that, in Brazil, it takes a lot more lighting down there. They use a lot more lighting. So he said that I need to take that into consideration, that we may not use as much. But then I thought about people like Solstice, who uses a lot of lighting. And so I'm going to critique this as if you worked out of California and you use a lot of lighting, because that's what Solstice does. So I've seen what a lot of lighting looks like. So all these lights look like a nightclub. Now you've got two huge movers over top here. I feel like it's a little overkill as far as the movers go, but I feel like this is also a club-like atmosphere. This is not a wedding. I don't think that this is a wedding by any means. And the other photos probably would say that as well. But let me move your name here, because I think you got a fog machine on the floor, right where the name was. You've got 2 pars on the ground. You've got 4 pars up top. And the fog is what's giving you your beams on here. But they almost look like shed lights here. I remember Shed advertising something like that. Let's look at this next one you have here. Now, this looks like a different type of party. Now, one thing I can tell you right off the bat, those speakers with those stands, and those stands are naked, that ain't gonna fly. That is not gonna fly. I mean, I get it. When the lights go out, it won't look like much, but if the lights are on, that does not look great. I think those are shed lights. They look like 2 shed movers at the top there. Don't exactly know why you have the pars shining up the front of the stand. If you have the option to get those, under there and make it like a glow totem, I would probably do that instead of in the front. Usually it's hollow in the middle, so I'm not sure why you weren't able to get that to go in there. Even if you have one in there, then why do we have one up front? I don't like the double whammy on the stand. Like, we should just have one light inside, done. All black facade. I get it. If it's like a club like thing, this is a setup made for a club. The only thing that's missing on here is, I sure hope those speakers that you use have great bass, because I do not see a subwoofer. I don't see any sub anywhere. Excuse me. And you're definitely going to want to get some boom if this is a club-like atmosphere. Let's see. You gave me another picture too. Let's see what this one looks like. Is that the same one? I think that's the same one. Yeah, it is. All right. This must be you doing your thing. Let me put your name back up there. Okay, so now I'm looking at this, and it looks like you've got a light inside that totem. It definitely does. It looks like you do. So I would definitely suggest taking those lights from the front of it. You may be able to put those behind you. No, you've got lights behind you too. So it looks like you don't even need those. You don't need those pars on the ground in the front. The red bar in the front definitely makes me feel like this is a club. Your attire on here makes me feel like it's a club too, because you basically have on a t-shirt. So if this is a club, you're doing well. I'm not sure. I would love to know what you're using for subs in that club, because right now there's no way you're getting enough bass. This is the last one that he sent me, and I can just tell you there's a lot happening here. But this further makes me believe that this is a club. So, I mean, all your lights are like club-like lights. They're like derbies, big moving heads that do a whole lot of stuff. So it looks like you have stuff set up for a club. Definitely not a fan of the over-the-top setup here, but, if you got a if you got to do a club and you got to create a certain type of atmosphere, you're definitely going to want to get lighting over you. You might want to consider the rounded off truss, the ones that the truss curve on the ends. It has a tendency to look a little bit better than going up and just straight across. If you want to get some different stuff on there, and moving heads on there instead of derbies look a little bit better as far as beam wise. Because if you create a great light show with moving heads, it'll actually do you a little bit more justice than lights like this while they're hanging over you if you're doing a club scene, especially if they're kind of going up, down, opposite. If they're inverted, it will look pretty good. So DJ Galeno, appreciate you. And let's just do a quick check-in. How y'all doing? Y'all liking it? Y'all liking it so far? Let's check the chat, man. You guys are doing a lot of talking on here. It's still 2000. Oh my gosh, look at this. Yeah, 5 or lower in some cases. Yeah, I'm supposed to be rating him. For a club setup, Galeno, I would give that one, I'd probably give that one, not that last one we just saw, the first two, I would give that one probably a 6 too. That looked like a 6. I keep forgetting to rate them. Yeah, those okay. What do you all use to cover the speaker stands and the skirts on the thing? Oh, okay. So you guys talking amongst yourself. I'll let you get back to it. All right. Let's keep going. Get some water here. Next up, we've got DJ Frank Blends. Okay. So Frank, love the facade, bro. Love the facade. I like that you got them on each panel. Quick suggestion: if you put them at the corner of each gap where they connect that, it actually gives 2 panels like one light. It'll actually cover 2 in a way. Just try it out and let me know what you think. It looks like you're using the Chauvet corner, the wedge lights as well there. All right, your movers. I like the movers on the collapsible stands. I love the wire management. I don't see any wires at all except for whatever this is hanging over your facade. I don't know if you're trying to get signal somewhere. Now, a couple of you guys have this set up as well where it comes to those speakers on those stands. I don't know what it is about that setup. I do not like the speakers on top of those stands. I just feel like it doesn't look right. Something is off with it. And I saw it a couple of times in a couple of different scenarios, and I still didn't like it. It's just, I don't know. It's a little weird to me. I like the fact that you got the 4 glow totems here, but I don't know. Maybe you need like some column speakers or something along those lines. I just feel like those speakers should always be on the tripod stands, and if you could get them on the tripod stands and then put them behind your facade, you can actually, you space out those last 2 panels and put them right in that corner. You can actually make it look like it's thinner and it's just on, like floating in the air almost. And then you have everything looks really, really good. I mean, you're like knocking on the door of an 8, but I have to give you a 7 for this one because of that damn gig bar. That gig bar I feel like it just takes all your hard work and just craps on it. That gig bar is going to put dots on people, and you already have movers. You've got great floor lighting. Like, I mean, that whole area looks like it's yours. Like you own that area. So I'm going to give this one a 7. Still not a fan of the speakers on top of the stands. We got to. I feel like we should look at another option for that, and of course we definitely are not fans of the gig bar in the back. Definitely not fans. Now he sent me another one. Let's see if this one is any better. See, I mean, take a look at this one, guys. This is what I mean. You see what I mean? Like it's something off. It's like the speaker is too big for those stands, or like something's off with the speakers being on there like that. I mean, I like the 4 totems, but I just don't like speakers on the totems as the option. But yeah, see, if you would have taken, you see how you have those pars in the corner there, and then put one more in the middle one, that would make that pop right there as far as your color goes. But see here, you didn't use the gig bar. Actually, I don't know how you're lighting the dance floor here other than the moving heads. I can't really tell. It looks like those are Chave moving heads in the back, just based on the base of the light. Because, you know, Chave has like that weird, like, you know, shoot down, almost like a spaceship base. But yeah, so this is Frank Blend's second setup here. I am a fan of the 4 totems, though. I do like the 4 totems. I know that's a bear to take down at the end of the night and carry those. Hopefully you don't break each one down. I'm hoping you could transport them at their lowest form and do it that way. That way it makes it easier for you at the end of the night. All right, so appreciate you, Frank Blends. Like I said, I give Frank Blends a 7. He is currently in my lead right now. All right, next up, we've got DJ K. Now, DJ K let me know that this was for a military function. I'm glad he prefaced that because, you know, we've already talked about the black panels. You know, if this is for a wedding, this is not a great setup. But if this is for something else, like a military ball or, you know, just something basic, this is fine. Nothing wrong with this setup here for the function that he's having. Now I see some pars in the back hanging from the roof there, but if those are not yours by any chance, how are you? I mean, is it just day? I'm assuming you didn't bring any lights because the event was during the day. But if it does go in tonight, or they do turn off the lights, how are you lighting the dance floor? I mean, there's not one light, and you're not going to be able to shine any light through that facade. But I like this look. If it is just a daytime party, just something you're in and out, it's very clean. You don't see any wires. Even the wires that are off to the left side of the speaker look like they have wire management. They have been taped down. It looks great. Those are like alto speakers at the top. I'm not sure how they sound, but it is a decent setup. I would say for the event on this one, I would give this setup a 6. Just because there's no lighting. It's hard to give it anything above a 6 because there's no lighting at all. You know, these other guys, you know, they show me stuff where they had some lights on it. Maybe if he could show me a setup that had lights on it, we could change that. But I would probably say a 6. I would probably give it a 6. All right, next up, we've got Majestic DJ Company, DJ Danny Meza. I think I said your name right. And we've got our first look, or first option of those 360 tubes. All right, so let's look at this, guys. Man, this one's interesting. Okay, so the wire management and everything looks great. However, I do not like the fact that you can see your whole setup. I don't like that. I don't like that you're not covered, that you don't have something. Now, I know I use the T-stand and I'm all out front, but that is one flat surface and one laptop. I mean, it literally almost looks like a desk. But this, you've got a lot of stuff happening. I mean, you've got that arm that holds the laptop. We could see your controller On top there, you've got a light that goes around the bottom part of that, and then it looks like a full out table under there. I don't know. I just feel like this should have a little bit more covering to it because it's a little chaotic on the top. I haven't gotten to the point where I like the 362s, but I mean it for your setup, it looks decent. But then in the back corner, here we go again, guys. I mean, it looks like you made this gig bar because I don't think I've ever seen one that's got the lights that it has at the top. But it looks like you've got derby lights, and then you've got two pars, and then you've got what looks like maybe some strobes at the top. But that is a gig bar, and I mean, you could see what I mean. Like, it just doesn't do any justice. It doesn't do you any justice to have that thing. I would definitely look at other options from that. This one, look, I'm not hard to please, but this is not the one that I'm looking for as far as giving an A+ here. So let's take a look at another version of it. This is the same DJ. And, this is another setup. I mean, he is so good on the wire management. Look at that wire management. It is fantastic. Nothing wrong with that at all. But even the bun booths keep the mixer, the controller and everything flush. Like, to have it on the top like that, it just looks cluttered because you already have the arm that holds the laptop. And then there is the ISO in the back corner. You've got that gig bar. And it's just, man, it's hard to give you a better grade. You sent me more photos, so let's see what else we got. This is from behind there. Let me see if I can move your name down a little bit here. Looks like you're using My DMX Go as your software. You're using the Hercules. Nothing wrong with the controller, by the way. The Hercules T7, like, I don't have a problem with your controller. I do see that behind your table down there at the bottom. Looks like you have a mixer down there as well to help out with the sound. I know it's tight quarters because you can see based on everybody else in the tent. I see lighting up there where the gentleman is standing, so it looks like you may have some more Astera tubes or 360 tubes up there, and you may have some uplighting up there. So, I mean, you've got lighting available, which is good. I just wish that it would help you get rid of that gig bar. Like, use the lighting you have to get rid of that damn gig bar. Yeah, I was trying to see what kind of speakers these were. It looks like the name is in the corner down here. Let's see if I can blow this up a little bit more. Is that Rockville? It kind of looks like that says Rockville in that corner. I can't tell what speakers those are, but it looks like it may be a Rockville column speaker. And you sent me one more photo here. Let's see. This is another one. You got the gig bar center stage now. Man, I'm sorry, bro. Like, Daddy Meza, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I give this a 6, man. This is a 6, bro. This is a 6. I'm just not a fan of that gig bar. The 360 tubes, I think if you line them up all in front of you, I think you would get the look you're looking for and not have to use that hideous thing behind you. Because they're supposed to light up the dance floor from what I'm told. So yeah, that's the way I would probably utilize them, but I am not a fan of that. Looks like the chat is saying, yeah, they're Rockville. So yeah, those are Rockville column speakers. Never heard them, but you do a great job at wire management. I will say that. It looks like this is this is like one of those plugs to help with power. Like maybe there's not a power in the corner right there to the bottom left of your setup. The yellow box looks like that's one of those plugs that they're pulling from a bigger power source. Another thing I don't like, and I don't know why some DJs do that. I tried this, and this is pointless. The both lighting that is on the ground, why are we lighting up the front of the speakers? What effect are we trying to get with that? No, we have to stop doing that. We need to stop doing that. I don't see the reason why we're doing that. Those lighting up the speakers makes no sense. I tried it. I set it up like that, and literally that thing just got kicked. Beer got spilled on it, and it didn't do any justice. It didn't show anything off. It doesn't make the setup look better. In my opinion, it just doesn't. It doesn't. I think a couple of people did it in our quest for some DJ setups. All right, so this whole setup thing was a 6 for DJ Danny Meza. All right, next up, we've got DJ Chad from Millennium Entertainment Jax. Now, I think he put Jax on here because it's in Jacksonville. This setup looks eerily familiar. I remember this setup. I did this setup last year. I did this setup. The reason I stopped doing this setup is because brides hated it, pretty much. Brides hated it. It looks like, it looks like a fence, like a jail. Like I have to stay back there. There's no cover. So they didn't like it. I mean, think about somebody's big white wedding and then you've got the steel setup. And I thought I was fine. I thought it was fine. I used to put a sign right there in the front, advertising for the company. I've done this setup several times. But I have to tell you that, upon looking at it now, I probably kept this setup too long. This is probably good for a non-wedding. Anything that's non-wedding, you could get away with this. Now, let's get to the I just don't get it, guys. You guys are making Chavez so much money. Look, you see it up there, top right corner. That gig bar that you have up there, I get it. It's easy. It's easy to take down. It's easy to put up. It does the job, puts dots around everybody. It looks hideous upon looking at it. Dots on people is outdated. It's time to move on from the gig bar. It just is. I mean, what takes away from this setup is the gig bar. Look, you can't even put it right behind you, and off to the side now, it doesn't look symmetrical by any means. I see you try to put a black cover on the inside of it to cover it, but it really should go on the outside. Not gonna lie. You want to cover up that silver as much as you can because people hate it. At least where I'm at, people hate it. And your equipment and everything is exposed. I mean, it doesn't cover anything. You can see everything that you're doing back there. You can see your case cover, your case color. You can see your lighting controller. You can see it all. That stuff all, in my opinion, should be hidden. He did send me another setup. I think it might be the same image, but from a different angle. Well, actually, it's the same setup, but different speakers. So same setup here, but he's using, he had the column speakers in the other one. This one has the 2 subs and the 2 tops with the poles in the middle, but he used that gig bar. Now I'm looking at the room here and I'm looking at that table to the left and that looks like a wedding cake on top. So if this is for a wedding, it's bad. It's bad. This is a 5. This is a 5 here. It's just not enough lighting. There's so much more you can do. I mean, even if you got the 360 tubes here, that would elevate this a little bit. But I really think you got to give up on the cage look. It's time to give up on it. I think that its time was here, and there's so many different booths that are offered now. I think it may be time to upgrade this stand here. and do something else with it. Wire management is great, though. I will say that. I don't see many wires anywhere. I don't see wires coming down from the speakers to the subs, which is great. But I just think it's time to go ahead and upgrade the stand. So I'm going to give this one a 5. And we're going to move on. Doggone it. There we go. Okay, next up, we've got LD the DJ. He goes by I am LD the DJ. Okay. Now, I love the symmetrics of this. I definitely love the symmetrics. I'm assuming that on that left side beside that wash, that is the house speakers. So I'm not going to look at that at all. I'm also assuming that the lights on the floor are yours as well. For uplighting, which is great, but the symmetrics on this is great. Your movers are a little small for the size stands you have, just in my humble opinion. But I do like the movers on the stands, and I do like the wash on the speakers. I mean, you've got the speaker pole and then sub, and then you put the wash on the top. This is what I was saying about those other setups, where they didn't utilize the fact that you could put the wash on top of the speakers. This, to me, is a symmetrically great setup. He's done a really good job of spacing everything out, matching everything on each side, using the same color for everything. Like, it's like a full setup. Would I have liked to see white? I'm not sure, because I feel like with that bass down there, his black kind of offsets the white in a good way. As far as the stand you have up there, I'm not sure about that stand. I've seen a couple other DJs use that stand. Again, it reminds me of the cage, but because it's all black, it goes uniform with what you have set up here. This right here is by far the best setup so far. This is an 8. This is an 8. And the only reason it's an 8, because I would love to see the moving heads be a little bit bigger on those stands in the back. And I would love for that stand that he's got everything sitting on to be like to where you can't see anything, like completely blacked out. Like, even though it's all black, it needs to be blacked out. Because I mean, if you look at it, you can see that the flight case that he's using is silver. You see right through it. It takes away from the uniform. So like I said, I just think it should be all black, and it would, if he had bigger moving heads, and he had a stand that was all black, all blacked out, this would easily be a 10. That would easily be a 10. So this is a great setup. I think he sent me 2. Let me see. Yeah, he sent me 2. Hopefully his second setup is just as great. Let's make sure. So this is the same setup, but taking down the totems. So yeah, this is still decent. There's not a whole lot going on here. I'll probably rate him off the other one because he has the lights on. It was symmetric. He was up top, but you can see what I mean about that stand there. That stand, the fact that you can see through the top of it, it's going to take away from the blackout look. He did a great job with wire management. It looks like you did a great job getting that all together. I mean, even the wires that are coming from the wash effects look great. And you've just done a great job. I mean, this looks like one of my old setups here. This looks good. Now, I just noticed something. Right below his name there at the bottom, it looks like there's 2 cases under there, which means that you were probably using this for storage, and you can see that. That takes away from that setup. It definitely takes away from it, but silver is going to show everywhere if you don't have it completely covered up. And if those never reach the ground, then you got to always make sure you have something black on the ground to cover that spacing. But your other setup is definitely an 8. It's definitely an 8. I'm going to give you that 8. So great job, LD the DJ. All right, and I think he's in the chat here. This is DJ Angel Gomez from Amar Productions. Okay, now DJ Gomez. Let me just tell you that this definitely looks like a wedding. It looks like you have put together the lighting tree in the back. I may be wrong on that. If that all comes together, then that's a gig bar, and I am not a fan of those. I'm not a fan of the decor of the couple either. I mean, that decor, that looks rough. But you had an all white out setup. It's just a little dated. The two double-sided skirts. It doesn't look great to put a light under there. It just doesn't. The fact that it doesn't touch all the way to the ground, it doesn't look at its best. I think if you fan this out, if you got another piece to that facade, you could probably use it, but fan out your facade, put all your lights behind your facade, and see if you can get those stands on like something like a gravity stand, or if you had to use those tree stands, just make sure that you only see the tip of the pole, so it's just a round part, almost like it's sitting on a subwoofer or something. But yeah, it's a little dated as far as the setup goes. This was probably setups that were used, I don't know, probably like 5-6 years ago, something like that. It's like people have kind of moved past the double-sided skirts. If you're still going to use these and these are your only speakers, then I would definitely start getting them behind your facade. I would definitely find a way to get them behind your facade. Or if you've got a subwoofer or subwoofers, it would definitely look great for you to put them on a pole and put the sub on the ground. That would look great as well. But we just got to get rid of these double-sided tripod stand skirts. I just think it just looks dated. And put all those lights that you're going to have in the skirt behind the facade, and you've just spruced that whole setup up. That gig bar is just, I mean, you already know. The gig bar is rough. It's rough for me. I know you guys like it for convenience, but it's just rough. So that's what that looks like there. Great job, Angel. I'm going to give this one this one's probably like a 4. This is probably like a 4 here. There's a couple of changes that would move this up to like, a 6-7. If this is your only setup. All right, next up, DJ Dan Wood. Boy, Dan, you got a lot happening here, bro. You got a lot happening here. A lot happening here. Now, I'm assuming that card in the back like that is because maybe you just finished setting up. I'm not going to take away points for that because you already got enough happening here. I do not like the wire management on your speakers. That looks horrible. That looks terrible. That's got to go against the pole all the way down to the bottom of the sub and then back off the back side of the sub. However you got to make that happen, you got to make that happen. Whether it be clips, whether it be black zip ties, whatever you need to do, you're going to have to do. The fact that you can see those uplights and stuff on the ground, not a fan. I'm not sure what you're lighting up there. I'm not sure. You've done an all black setup and you're shooting uplights just up to the ceiling for really no reason. And then you've got the eyesore of all eyesores. You've got the gig bar. I mean, you guys can see it. Look at the wiring behind the gig bar. It's not clean. It's not clean at all. The skirt that's on the stand, not a fan of that. It symmetrically, if you had to use this gig bar, put it behind you if you have to. You're gonna have to keep everything kind of uniform. Putting this in the middle, it makes you look confused. It makes you look confused. One thing I will say, you've got that same stand that other DJ had, and you've got a black case, but now you guys can see what I'm talking about when you use black stuff behind there. If you black it out, it looks better than have silver up there. So the black side of that looks, decent, but your wire management, it needs an upgrade. Again, I don't know if you just finished. It looks like you've tried to do something because you've got ties on both of them. So it looks like you definitely tried. So I definitely had to take off points for that. And these lights on the ground. I mean, this setup right here, this is a 4 or a 3. This is a 4 or 3. This is not well at all. I love the speakers. Looks like you got EV and QSC as your speakers. Nothing wrong with having double brands here. That's fine. I like the poles because those are adjustable poles. I had those same ones, but wire management, up lights, and gig bar really took off for this one. This is definitely a 4. If it's very close to a 3 though, very close. I mean, very close. Appreciate you sending that in, Dan. I hope that helps you out. If you don't agree with me, you don't have to use it. You don't have to use my critique. I'm just critiquing it because you sent it to me. All right. Next up, we've got E Entertainment, Eric Cunningham. Okay. Very, very, very clean here. There's only one problem with this picture. Really, and it's really only one. Well, maybe 2. I'd probably give just a light criticism on the other one. One problem. Where are the speakers? We have no idea what speakers you're using. I mean, the picture was taken just like this. I didn't crop this in anything. This is how he sent me the picture. There's no speakers. I would love to see what speakers you have, how you have them set up to really give you a great grade on here. I mean, because this is up there with an 8. This looks really, really good. It's really clean. It's really uniformed. Like I've said before, I'm not there yet on the 362s, but I will give you credit for the symmetrics of it. You've got it very evened out. The suggestion that I would make is the pars that are behind the facade, just line them up on where the facade actually meets. If you line them up on there, trust me, it covers 2 panels. It looks better. I got that great advice from DJ Bar a long time ago, and I've done it like that ever since, and it really, really does make it look better. Trust me, guys. That was a great adjustment for me to make that. But I mean, you've got, man, that's 6 lights there. You've got 6 of those. I mean, I assume that you're trying to make sure that dance floor is covered. I don't even know what the throw is on these as far as how far the lighting goes out with these, but this is 6 lights. This is a lot. So I see why you're utilizing them. Would have definitely loved to see what the speakers are. I'm going to have to give you a 7 because I can't see the speakers, but it is a very clean setup. Very clean. That was DJ Eric Cunningham. Great job, bro. Okay, a fan favorite. Let's get to it. Mr. DJ Solstice. Now, boy, so much happening here. So much happening here. DJ Solstice is probably has the most elaborate setup out of everybody. I mean, it's out there. Okay, so the speakers that he has on here are, I love the all white look. First of all, I like the white top, white pole, white subs. I like the facade that you have on here, Solstice. Now, a couple of things that I've always questioned about you is the lasers. Now, I'm assuming that this is a regional thing, and on the top of these totems, like you have the lasers because these people are saying they want a club atmosphere, and the lasers kind of give you that club type deal. And if you're using haze on here, it makes it look like almost like you're at a rave. So I'm going to chalk that up to rave, but I would never, ever suggest lasers at a wedding. I think if you're in a certain area, you could probably get away with it, like in a California where they usually do stuff like that. But I I would not use lasers at the event. You've got your lights and stuff here. Sosa's, man, I don't know where you find all this stuff, bro. Like, you find a lot of crazy stuff. Like, you guys see how his lights are attached to the totems and stuff. Feel like, where did he find those clamps and stuff for to do that? Sosa's is the only one that I know that will attach lights like this. I myself am not a fan of the lights on each side. I think that is totally a preference. I think you would still do justice without them. But I get it. That's a preference for you. The 360 tubes in the back definitely create an ambiance for you, which is good. That it helps kind of complete the setup. You've got what probably seems like there's going to be 4 of them back there. But I like the facade. I like the speakers. I get why you have to use the laser, so no knock there. Only thing that I don't necessarily like are the lights on the sides of the totem, but that's a preference. And this one, Solstice, I'm going to give you an 8 on this one. This looks, like some of your standard stuff here. Now, you gave me 2 pictures. So this is another setup. Like Solstice, man, he gets it. He gets it when it needs to be uniform. Like, he's got the exact same setup, but in black now. Like, this is great right here. This is great. Like, he's got 4 cold sparks in the front of that stage, right there at the bottom, but you barely could see them. You wouldn't even know them if you didn't look at them. 4 cold sparks in the front. He's got the sub with the poles on there. He's strategically put out the 360 tubes to where it doesn't look like there's a whole bunch of them. It just looks like they were put out and they have a purpose. And then I'm assuming that he's off to this left side. If you're looking at the screen, I assume that he is off of there, but the only thing I don't like is just the light. But hey, man, he didn't even use white lights. He used the black lights on the black skirts. That's what makes this looks really good. So this, both of these combined, this is definitely an 8 on both of these setups. So I would definitely give him an 8 on there. Great job, Solstice. All right, we're coming down to the last couple. Let's see. All right, next up. DJ G. Kenny. Anybody ever wonder what G. Kenny looked like? Well, here he is. DJ G. Kenny. All right. G. Kenny. Let's talk about it. All right. So we've got our speakers here to each side. This is a minimal setup. I'm thinking, you told me in the email that this was a 70s party. I definitely would like to see your wedding setup because this looks very, very basic. Like you had a minimal setup to set this up. Of course, I'm a big fan of the Wash FX lights, but you have really killed it with that gig bar. That gig bar behind you, it just feels like nope. It feels like nope. Because, I mean, here's the crazy thing about the Wash FX. If you had a gravity stand, one gravity stand behind you and that Wash FX, it would be better than every light that gig bar offers up there. One gravity stand behind you and that Wash light would cover a small event of maybe 50 people. If you go over 50, then you need 2 gravity stands and 2 Wash FX. But that would look so much better. It would look so much better. This gig bar is, look, it's the easy thing to do. You know, it's got multiple lights. You can literally take it off and take it down in less than 10 minutes. I get why you guys get it, but it is terrible. That light is horrible. So, I mean, look, G. Kenny also wanted me to let you guys know that that's not his real hair. He was doing a 70s party. He was dressing up for it. So kudos to him. Now, if he really wanted to dress up for it, you know, he could have worn a different shirt, wear some, bell bottoms, stuff like that, really get into it. But I get why he did it. Now you've got multiple lights under your table there, and I realize you use that table because it's really minimal. It's really just easy to use. But again, like I said with the other guys, like that being able to see your equipment right there, it's no better than that ADJ event table 2. I would like to see that blacked out up top there, just so it looks like you're doing your thing, but people can't see any of that stuff. If there was a way to black out that top, it would probably be great. This is the first time I think I've seen that stand come in black and then have the white, scrim on it. It looks a little different. Not gonna lie, but I think you did that so that you could utilize some lighting under there. It looks like, if you look kind of close here, it looks like the lighting that you used was another wash effects under the bottom. It looks like this could be another wash under the table. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, G Kenny. I'm not sure. But correct me if I'm wrong. It looks like another wash under there. Definitely would like to get some pars under there. I'm not sure what this little contraption is over here. Let's see if I can blow this up. What is this box over here? Oh, I don't know what that is. I thought that may have been like a cold spark or something. But yeah, I would definitely like to see like some pars under there. Love the speakers. Speakers are great. Everything looks symmetric. Gig bar takes you down, bro. Not gonna lie, you had a 5 on here. You had a 5. This is a 5 setup. Not sure why you added the wash effects on the top of the gig bar. You must know that light is the truth. That's why you added it up there. Because that's more work if you add it up there. In my opinion, it is. All right. Appreciate you, G Kenny, for sending that in. We had a late arrival here. This is last but not least, DJ Marcus Sykes. Okay. Marcus. Marcus. If you're listening to this, bro, I apologize ahead of time, but this is horrible. This is horrible. We got one speaker on here. We've got cables coming out, and it is not wire managed. We've got a light tree that's got a derby on it. There's a lot of outdated stuff on here. Look at the cords to the right of the stand. That just no. This is not good at all. This is not good, Marcus. Now you sent me a second one. Let me before I give you a grade on this one. Let me see what the second one looks like. All right, here's the second one. Now this is set up. It looks like in your living room or in someone's living room. Look, I'm gonna have to, pull out my Randy Jackson on him and say, it's a no for me, dog. It's a no. The stands on the are you guys understanding what I'm saying about these stands on this tripod? Like, it's just, if you're gonna use them, you're gonna have to hide them. You can't use skirts to hide them anymore. You're gonna have to find a way to hide these stands. It is just not. It's not good. It's not good at all. The facade, it looks like that might be a Pro X facade. If it is, I would definitely do the 5-panel one, get those speakers behind the facade, and we've got to do a better job of wire management. They sell gravity clips on Amazon. I think they're like, I don't know, $1 or $2 a piece. They're not much. For those stands, get you some gravity get you some gravity clips. And you got to do some management on those poles, man, on those speaker poles. On both sides here. Even though you were just setting up in a living room, look at the wires. Look at the wires. The goal is to make it look like you got that all set up and there's no wires. That's what the goal is. I see a light tree over there in that corner. It looks like you've got a par on there. But light trees are done, man. Probably look into getting you some 360 tubes if you've got to do, lights. If you just have to do lights, instead of doing a light tree, look into some 360 tubes if you're not going to get stuff on stands. You're going to have to do it different, guys. It's rough. This was rough, but I hope I gave you some constructive criticism and I didn't just hit you on the head, man. There's a couple of updates that you're going to need to do. 5-panel facade, gravity clips, stands behind facade, 360 tubes instead of light tree. So hopefully that works. All right, and then that's it. That was everybody. Appreciate everybody who sent in their photos of their setups. And look, guys, this is just so we can all learn and we can all get better. This is so we can all be uniform as a DJ. Not to say everybody has to have the same thing, but some things that may be a little outdated, you may want to consider updating. And you can do it in a unique way. There's so many options out there now that they didn't have when I started DJing. One of my first setups was the table skirt and the derbies and the Chave gig bars. I'm not coming from a place where I've never used that stuff. I'm not coming from a starting point like what I'm at now. I started with a lot of these setups that I've seen tonight. I've started with a lot of those, and it's just time to update and upgrade some of your stuff. You don't have to do it all at once, but if you do it piece by piece, you won't even notice that you spent a little bit of money, but you spent the money to make the money. Some of these setups, you couldn't ask for more than $500-$600. Some of these setups you could be asking for $1,000 plus, $2,000 plus dollars. There's a reason why you're able to do that. So I only had this session tonight not to sit there and just drag people's setup. That was not my goal tonight. Tonight was just to show different setups from different minds, from DJs, and help with some constructive criticism. If you don't think I've gotten some constructive criticism on the stuff that I've set up, I mean, I've had some setups and people are like, bro, what is that? That looks terrible. Like, I don't know why you used it. I mean, I've had all of that, but it just made me want to step my game up. So hopefully nobody's taking this the wrong way and we can all laugh about it and stuff later. Cause I know when I was getting it, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. I was like, I just can't wait to show all this stuff. So anyway, that is the show and everything tonight. Hopefully I can make something out of this. Hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Maybe we'll do this again in the fall or the winter and see if we can get some more setups. See if anybody changed. Maybe some people who sent me some tonight updated their stuff. Who knows? But we shall see. But I really appreciate you guys for sticking around. We will have a show next week, Thursday, 7 p.m. EST. And I'm going to try my best to get on Twitch tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to do skating ring music. That's what I want to do. I'm going to do skating ring music for about an hour, about lunchtime, from 12 to like 1. So be on the lookout for that. I think I got my thing right here. If you don't already follow me on Twitch, make sure you do so. And got a great gig this weekend going to Charleston. So I'll be about an hour or two away. And they want to party, man. It's gonna be a great function. The only problem is we outside. Sucks. But it's all good though. So we're gonna make it happen. If you guys have a gig this weekend, make sure you knock it out of the box. And don't forget, you're not just playing for your couple you're DJing for, you're auditioning for another couple who's already there. So never forget that. I really appreciate you guys coming out tonight. I hope you enjoyed everything, and we'll be back next week. Enjoy your night. Make sure you living to strive and not to survive. See you soon, people. Appreciate you, man. Like always. I always appreciate you. Peace.